Hello. Okay, let's have a quick look at how a set associative cache works. You have probably seen caches referred to as two-way, four-way, and so on, so let's quickly talk about what this means. For simplicity, let's just say it's physically indexed and physically tagged, so that means we're not dealing with TLB lookups, we're not dealing with address translation, and let's just say this cache uses 64-byte cache lines too. So, since this is a four-way 256K cache, that means it's divided into four ways. There are four ways you can get a hit. Since each way is 64K, it has 1024 lines, you're going to need 10 bits to pick a line from any of these ways. So that's going to form the index into the cache. Now let's try to look this address up in cache and determine whether we have a hit. So we don't care about the low 5 bits because that's just the offset into a 64-byte line. At the cache level, we don't care. We're going to have to now pick 10 bits to use as the index, so I'm just going to pick the next 10 bits for simplicity, and we're going to use those bits to figure out which places in the cache we can get a hit. So since we have four ways, we're going to index into each of the four ways. There are four possible places we can get a hit for this address. Now to determine whether we have a hit, we need to compare the tag. The tag is going to form the remaining bits of the address, and each line is tagged with those bits, with those 33 bits, to tell us what's in there. So we're going to have to compare the tag bits for each of these ways. So that's four comparisons. If we have a match, and the line is valid, so the status bits say it's valid, then we have a hit. Of course, there are more status bits than just one valid bit in modern caches, but we're not going to get into that. So one problem with this is, let's say we have these 5 lines that are frequently accessed, and as you can see, there are different addresses, but they differ in the tag bits. They do not differ in the index bits. So let's just say for simplicity that the first 4 lines are already loaded into cache, and you'd have to load them in different cache ways. So the first one where you say, okay, it's in way 3, the next one's in way 0, the next one's in way 1, and the third one is in way 2. So if we only access those 4 frequently, we are fine. But now let's say we also access this 5th address that also only differs in the tag bits differently. Sorry, we also access this one frequently. So when we get there, we're going to have the cache miss because it does not match tags in any of these 4 ways. And we're going to want to try to load it into the cache so the next time we hit it, we have a cache hit and it's fast. Unfortunately, we have to pick one of these 4 slots to put this address into. No matter which one we pick, we are evicting a line that we're going to use. Let's just say we put into way 3 here. Well, too bad. Now when we get back to this address, we're going to have a tag mismatch and no hit. So it's very important that in this case you pick your index bits very, very carefully to ensure that frequently accessed addresses do not have the same index bits, so you don't run this situation. You can also avoid this by, of course, having a higher associativity cache. So now if we split this cache into 8 ways or 16 ways, then these 5 lines would not conflict with each other, and then we would not have this kind of conflict miss scenario. Okay, I hope that has been kind of clear, and I hope that explains how increasing the associativity of a cache is a trade-off between reducing conflict misses and also making a slower cache, because if you have higher associativity, you have more lines to check for hits.